found this video, then welcome to a whole new world of change. What if I tell you I had just 3 simple tips that anyone can apply in their life and it will produce massive success? I actually do. My name is Ogbe Edward. Welcome to my channel where we discuss all things productivity and growth, making your life better and better. Let's take the ride.
Let's go. Let's go. Hey. Oh yeah. Run it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna.
Tip number 1, make a checklist. I'm gonna tell you a story, really funny story that comes along as a relevant example even as I wanted to make this shoot. My props manager was supposed to get all the things that we needed for the shoot. So the lights, the cameras, the stand, and all the necessary things. And I called him and we spoke about it the day before and we agreed, make sure everything is done properly. You know, those conversations as it will go. So while I was about to leave my house, I was supposed to get some things myself, and someone that was with me asked me a question. He said, "Are you sure we don't need anything?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine. I think everything is ready. Let's go." And I think in such a very assertive way, like I know what I'm doing. And then when we got to the location for the shoot, we found out that we forgot the light stand. Now I'll leave that for you to judge who is to blame, the props manager or myself. But the main bone of contention here is, if I have had a checklist or the props manager had a checklist where we'll be able to look at things and maybe we cross-check with one another, we would have had a better shoot. So in essence, instead of having the light on the light stand, we had to hold the light all through the shoot, which is a bit tedious. I wouldn't tell you how many times I've gone on a trip and I forgot to take my toothbrush. I took everything and I thought I was so prepared. I sometimes packed a day before, 2 days before, 3 days before, but yet I still forgot the very little things that are very important. Maybe that's your story in your business, at your workplaces and school, etc. But one thing that will help you to increase your productivity is to make checklist. Now, what's a checklist? A checklist is a template of tasks that will tell you what you need to do in order to complete a certain process. Quite different from a to-do list. Whereas while checklist deals with recurring processes, to-do list deals only with immediate situations. Checklist will help you to be better prepared I have some more important advantages of using a checklist. Number 1, checklist helps us organize our processes, making sure that we do not skip or omit a step. This allows for the consistent quality of product or delivery of our services. It also reduces error that can lead to disaster. Number 2, humans feel great when they are able to accomplish a task. When a checklist is a great motivator because every time an item is checked off the list, the brain releases endorphins that makes us feel good and we want to do more and achieve more things. So checklist is like that motivator that produces the visual cycle and gives you the feeling of more productivity. Number 3, checklist will allow you to do your task easier, faster, and more efficiently. For example, if I have to travel and I have my traveling checklist, I don't have to start thinking, what do I need? What do I need? You know that moment where you're like, what do I need? No! If you have a checklist, immediately you have to travel, and in case you have to go on an impromptu impromptu trip, you can just bring out your checklist and you can move on. I have a checklist when I make Chinese fried rice. If you want me to tell you about my checklist when I want to prepare my special delicacy, then comment down below. Tell us about your fried rice checklist. Point number 4. Checklists allow you to master your recurring processes. So after a while, when you use checklists, most of the times you may not use it again. So it's an initial way to get yourself motivated. Point number 5. Checklist facilitates smooth delegation of tasks. That's if you're working with a team and you have a whole lot of processes that have to take place. Maybe this person has to go do this and do that. You don't have to spend time to really go over the process, or by depending on your mental capacity. One thing I've come to know is that organized people have learned not to trust their brain only. They've learned also to put things down. I know you feel like you're Kali XY and that you have a super brain and that you can remember all things, but even the Bible says, write the vision. So if you're not used to writing, I think that you should employ the use of checklist, especially if you have a lot of tasks and you have a lot of activities going, you have a whole lot of things you're doing. I think this productivity tip of checklist is going to help you a lot. Yeah, that's it. Point number 2. I think at this point we should have a very chilled music because I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. This important productivity tip will help you with your personal life. I'll call it the intentional planning for what or who is important. Quite long, but quite thoughtful and quite important. Have you ever had a day where you really wanted to call your mom, you really wanted to call your dad, you really wanted to check on someone really close to you, do the tiny little things like play with your kids, go out with your wife and family, but all of a sudden you were so caught up in your productive activities, like if you were a student, you were so caught up with reading your books, going to classes, answering questions, studying, that you really forgot to call the most important person in your life. And sometimes we even say to ourselves, from this time, I'm gonna change. I'm calling my dad, I'm calling my mom, I'm calling my parents, I'm checking on the people who really matters to me, I'm doing the things that really matters to me in the midst of trying to do your basic or optimum activities of the day. Now, this tip is very important. One thing I've learned to do, and thanks to my dad, of course, there was a time he was saying I wasn't really reaching out as much as I ought to do. I hope he doesn't come to comment here, but if he does, I'm sorry, Daddy. So what I started doing was I started intentionally planning for the very little things that matter. So I made a list, like on Monday, call my mom. On Tuesday, send a text to my sister. On Wednesday, go out for a walk. So if you make those important things an integral part of your life and your living, you'll find out that you will not only be crushing goals, but you will also have that time to relate with the persons and the things that you really think that they're important to you. So I know we want to crush goals, but what's the essence of crushing goals if we're not in touch with the things and the people that really matters to us? This is a very important one. Please make this list. Yes. Point number 3. Associate time with experience. Usually we associate time with schedule. So what do I want to do at this particular time? And most of the times when we are planning for productivity or our day, we actually do not spend time, most people do not spend time to think about how what they want to do in a particular time will make them feel. This is one thing that has helped me to increase my motivation. For example, if I'm planning to read a book, I will ask myself, what is the emotional benefit of this studying time. If I am going to spend time with my family, I'll ask myself a question. In as much as I want to schedule seeing them at this time, how would it make them feel, or what is that experience we get by spending family time together? This is very important because we actually do remember time more as experiences than we remember time as schedule. If I would ask you, if you have graduated from high school, how was your high school experience? You really do not remember high school in terms of the period and the classes that you have. You probably forgot on what day you submit an assignment or what day you particularly did a task. The things you remember are the experiences, right? The things that were said, the things that were not said, the good stuffs you did, and if you were bad, the bad stuffs you did. And that's why if you remember any time of your life, sometimes it looks like a very tiny ball of experience if it was actually something really fun. And if it was really something that was terrible, it looks like a whole long season of pain. So time usually is more remembered in experience than schedule. So if you want to increase your productivity, stop planning time more with the schedule mentality. Start planning time more with the word experience mentality. I want to go swimming. Instead of thinking about just the time that you go swimming, think about the benefits that swimming would give to you. I want to pray, for example, as a child of God. Instead of thinking about how long am I going to pray, think about the spiritual upliftment that you get when you pray. I want to go out for evangelism. Instead of thinking about the time maybe you will spend out talking to people, think about that experience of what it means for a soul to come to the Lord. So when we think about time in more of the experience part of it, then we think about time in schedule, we tend to have a more fulfilling day. We tend to have a more productive life. We tend to be able to answer the reason why we choose to do an action. And then you know that you can live a perfect life when you dwell more on experiences than you dwell on the part of schedule. Alright, so I believe with these 3 tips, so we can call it the CIA principle. C for checklist, I for intentional planning for the things and the people who matter, and A is associate time with experience. CIA, Central Intelligence Agency. No. So if you employ the CIA principle, you find out that number 1, you avoid forgetfulness. Number 2, you avoid skipping things that are important. And number 3, you would have a better experience with life. I believe that this video has been of a great value to you. If it has, come on, what are you waiting for? Hit that like button, the subscription, come and click on the notification bell so that whenever I upload a video, you will be able to see it. Okay, share this video to your friends and family. If there's anyone who has been promising to call you, send this video to them. And they're not calling you, send this video to them. If you have a sibling who promises to call and do not call, send this video to them. If you are that sibling, then you need to employ this principle. If you have a team member who always forgets things, give them this video so that they know how to use a checklist. And if you know someone who is way tired of their schedule, share this video to them. Peradventure, they just need to learn that they need to dwell more on experience than scheduling. I have other videos that could help you. I'll place it down below in the video. You can learn how to be happy every day and also how to manage time and money. I think those 2 videos are related to this content, and if you want to learn more, please click on this video and watch other videos in my channel. And until next time, I love you and God bless.